Oh, we're recording? All right, welcome back to the podcast. Back to Tomboy Official. I've been recording this mini series, about, what it's like being a queer person of color, having lived with roommates, housemates, that kind of thing. Just mostly because it's a little bit relevant for these current times, as people are more and more likely to be sharing rent, moving in together, moving back in with family members, or moving in with family members, splitting rent, because everything's so freaking expensive. So, yeah, I wanted to speak to that. So, one of the things I've noticed is, you know, so, well, basically, I'm kind of going in order here. So, I left my RA job. The way I left that job was I was supposed to apply, but I didn't apply initially because I didn't want to live sharing a suite, because I had initially had my own private suite, and then I didn't want to share with another person, especially because they would have been in my cohort, and they were also not like too close with somebody that I was very fond of, and so I didn't really want to share with that person, because I was like, it might get in the way of some of my other relationships, and because I like my privacy, and this person was kind of, they weren't like up in my business, but they were slightly in my business. Like, they were in my business more than I would have wanted anyone to be. And so, I moved out, from the dorms, and then, you know, during the interview process, all of my other RA friends were like there during the interviews of all these other people who wanted to become RAs. And because the appeal to the job was you didn't pay rent to live on campus, but instead of having your own private suite with 2 dorm rooms and a living room and a bathroom to yourself, you were now at this next term going to have to share the suite with another RA. And one of the RAs, I think, was leaving, so it would have just been me and another female RA, and I wasn't comfortable with it because we were in the same cohort and the reasons I discussed earlier. And so, at first I didn't apply because I was like, nah, I don't want it that bad. And then I don't remember why I was like, I told the lady in charge, the one who had awkwardly thought that I was like in love with one of my close friends, like, I told her, because I was still having trouble in school, and I kind of told her, like, I need to prioritize my classes, and like, so, I'm sorry, but can I turn in the application? I think it was due, like, let's say a Thursday or Friday, and asked her if I could submit my application on like Sunday or something. I can't remember exactly, but I was asking if I could turn mine in late. Like, please, can I submit it late because I'm still interested? And she was like, no, you can't submit it late. And she's like, well, you just aren't going to be allowed to apply. And I was like, okay. And then from there, I found out that they weren't really finding good candidates, because I was still living on campus and talking to my other, RA friends. And the guy, friend of mine, he was like, yeah, these people are like whack, like none of them are good enough, and, and so my friend who had initially encouraged me to apply, who was in my cohort, who had really badly wanted to like share a dorm with me, like I, I basically, she was like, I guess she told that lady, just let me apply. She was like, just let her apply because you already know her work ethic. You already know she does good. And so that lady had confronted me, and she was like, not confronted in a mean way, but she was like, look, like, it's okay if you want to apply now, but she didn't tell me the background about, they're not finding good candidates. She didn't tell me that. My other friend told me. The guy friend was like, yeah, we didn't find anybody, because we were all talking about it, and everybody was like, no, like none of these people. And so I was like, I see what this is. Like, now that you can't find anybody, now you want me, and I kind of was already pretty sensitive about having like a shitty supervisor. She kind of got to me to a point where I just didn't really trust any of my leadership in a lot of different areas of my life at that point. And so I was just kind of like, I kind of felt like it was kind of bullshit. And so I kind of just didn't apply. And I was just like, yeah, she didn't really want me in the first place. So I just didn't want to deal with it, because I was like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like she genuinely wanted me to apply at first. And so I was like, well, if she didn't want me to apply at first, I kind of took it like, well, maybe, maybe she was just trying to play an even field with everything, or maybe she just didn't want me there and wanted somebody better than me. I didn't really know how to take it. If it was like, but I was kind of like, it might be one of these. I wasn't sure. It could have been something else, but it might have been one of those reasons. And so I wasn't sure which one, and I didn't really want to take my chances. So I kind of let it go. And I was like, let me just not apply, because I didn't feel comfortable. Because I was just not doing too well with school at that point. And the practicum I was in was really, really, really shitty. And so, because of the supervisor, and so I just, was struggling. And they also needed us to have more hours, like, because at that practicum, we also weren't getting the hours we needed, because, most of the clients went to the main staff, and, we weren't hitting the hours we needed for individual therapy, for group therapy, for, like, the different categories we needed. And, my grades were going down, and, like, everything was, like, a shit show at that point. And so I was like, I didn't need one more thing, on my plate. And so I eventually ended up moving back in. As a reminder, I was paying rent still at that other apartment, because I didn't want to move, because I still wanted to live with him, and I basically had my stuff there. It was like $550 a month or $600 a month or something. It was a lot, but also I was like paying student loan money, and I didn't think about it, and I was like, it's too stressful to move, so I didn't want to move. I just kept my stuff there and just kept with him pretty much. Moved back in with him. I think because I popped in here and there and told him, hey, I'm being an RA on campus, just so he knew. Like, I didn't involve him too much in my life, but I was like, just so he knew, like, I wasn't like avoiding him, and I was paying rent on time still, like. And so, I kept my apartment there because I liked living with him. But what happened, I'm going to start driving. What happened at a certain point was, he had eventually allowed his mother to come for, it was like a 3-day weekend, some kind. I don't remember what 3-day weekend it was, but it was a 3-day weekend that would have happened during, not the beginning of the school year. It would have been like during one of the middle terms of the school year. And like I mentioned, I can't recall if we were on quarter or semester. So this was either about 24 weeks into my second school year, or about 32 or so weeks into the school year. I can't remember, but whatever is about 20 to 30 something weeks into the school year, past like August or September or so, that's the holiday that it was when she came and started staying with us. And I was not pleased. I didn't like her. This mother of my roommate. And I didn't really know much about her. All I really knew was that when I first moved in with him, he had made a comment because me and my mom came to look at the apartments the first time together, and I think he made the comment then or when, but I remember him just making a comment that I thought nothing of, and he was like, I think he said that's why he chose me to be his roommate, because he was like, you must have a good relationship with your mom, and like, I could have never. He was like, yeah, I would never go from drive from LA to San Diego, in a car with my mom. And I never took that to mean much. I never asked him about his personal life like that or anything. So I didn't really know about his mom. And when he mentioned that she was coming for the weekend, or she was going to be staying, maybe I assumed it was for the weekend because it was a 3-day weekend. Maybe it was an assumption, or maybe he mentioned it. I really don't, a lot of the stuff, it was so many years ago, I really don't remember. But anyway, she had moved in with us. It was more than the weekend. She was there for a while, and a while too long for my taste. I did not like her. She was not nice. So not only was I dealing with a shitty supervisor, but I was dealing with this crazy ass roommate's mother. So, to my recollection, this lady, the roomie's mom, when I moved back over by USD with him after being an RA, she was, I think initially she was okay, but I remember, excuse me, the roommate, would sleep on the floor in the living room. He had moved the mattress onto the living room floor and was sleeping on the floor all the time. I think he was depressed, and she would talk to the young kid, and I remember the roommate kind of being telling his mom, leave him alone, he likes to be left alone, because he'd just be playing video games, and his grandma technically was just go pick up your toys, or go do this, or go do, she was just kind of really, she just kind of disrupted the chill of the household. He was chill, the kid was chill, but I could tell that the kid was just avoiding this lady, and that should have been my first sign. But I had already been living there, and I thought that she was just staying for the weekend, and then I was like, well, maybe she's staying the week, and maybe she's staying 2 weeks. And then after a while, he starts explaining to me that she, I guess he has siblings, and he's they don't want to take care of her anymore, and she, she outstayed her welcome at the other people's houses, and they, she had outstayed her welcome at those people's houses, and therefore was back with them, because she had outstayed her welcome, he had to take care of her, because I guess she wasn't independent and had to have people taking care of her. And I was like, this is odd, because she seems able-bodied and seemed okay, at first. But then things started getting a little worse and a little worse. I think they started arguing on a regular basis, and I was like, dear God, but it didn't matter too much to me, because I was out of the house all the time. I had a busy schedule, I was always out. But then it got to a point where she started trying to tell me what to do, and she was getting on my case. Like, mind you, she had the master bedroom with the bathroom in there with her. And so, but she started getting on my case, you know, like, you need to clean your bathroom more. And it was weird because I was like, well, she's not using my bathroom, and the bathroom wasn't dirty. So I was like, I don't know why she's like on my case about this stupid bathroom all the damn time, you know? Like, I was annoyed by it. It was obnoxious that she was kind of like, she would talk to me about it all the time. And she's like, you need to be cleaning this bathroom like twice a day. Mind you, I was never home. I would leave early in the morning after breakfast and be home maybe around time to eat dinner. So I was gone all day long. She was home all day long. She had her own bathroom, but she started obsessing about my stupid bathroom. And I couldn't really figure out what was going on with her. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this lady? And, you know, she just started getting like a little bit too much. Like, there was a point where she would tell me, I've talked about this before, but she would tell me, she would start telling me what to do, like random stupid stuff. Like, I remember once she told me, you know, don't eat, you know, because I would eat in the morning because I was like tired and groggy, and I was like, you know, you just do what it takes to like get through the day. And so I would stand up, you know, I would be like standing, eating breakfast, but like standing up, you know, I would be like standing at the table, eating breakfast. Back then I wasn't always on my phone and stuff, so I would just be like standing at the table, eating breakfast, and just like minding my own business, eating my food. Like, I wasn't bothering anybody. I wasn't, you know, interactive with anybody. I was just eating my food. You know, that's all I was doing. I was sitting there eating my food. Eating my food that I would usually have just like a simple, a very simplistic breakfast of like cereal or something I could eat like real quick, cold, and then be on my way. And I remember her specifically like getting on my case about it. She was like, you need to eat your breakfast sitting down. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with this lady? Like, who cares? Like, I wasn't eating breakfast while she was in there, you know, and she would get like upset. She would be like noticeably upset that like I wouldn't talk to her. And I remember she noticed my last name, and she noticed, oh, like, is it an African name? And I guess she's from South Africa. And, you know, she started wanting to talk more deeply about my family and stuff. And I didn't really want to talk to her at all, because I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I didn't say that out loud, but I made it a little apparent when she started getting a little nosy. And I was just like, you know what, like, I don't need to talk to her. Like, there's no reason why I need to talk to her. Like, she's not even on this lease, and I don't even know who she is. I don't need to talk to her. She doesn't treat my roommate right. Like, the kid doesn't like her either, you know? So I was just like, cold shoulder, kind of, just like, I don't need to talk to her. Because she was creating, like, a hostile household, and I was just like, I don't need this shit. Like, I already had shit going on with this fucking supervisor. I was like, I don't need this shit from her. You know, I had already, you know, moved off campus, and it was fine, you know. I was like, because I was like, at least I want my own private room, you know, in the space, you know, but I didn't necessarily want to live with her in that house with us. Because when I moved back, she wasn't there initially. I think she was there, a little after I had moved back. Like, I moved back and it was just me and the roommate and his kid again, and then eventually she moved in with us. So it was peaceful when I moved back, and then, you know, I was feeling a little bit better then too, because now I had developed a lot of good relationships on campus, and like deepened the ones that I already had, and like made some new friends, and like, you know, people that I actually could like confide in and talk to and like hang out with, and they kind of got me. And I was like, things were going better. I was a little less isolated. So that was pretty good. But yeah, I I basically didn't really know uh too much to really try and get involved with. It was just her, me, her, him. That's kind of all it really was. And we were just kind of living our housemate life. And none of us was too like too involved with one another, really. Like, but yeah, that was pretty much how that went. um she wasn't, let's see, she wasn't really like too, like, I guess she was friendly when she wanted to be, but she really was a jerk. Like, for the most part, I would say that she was just an unhealthy jerk. And she had issues that weren't managed, and she was kind of living off of her kids and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, I definitely noticed, there were some issues with her. Like, there were definitely issues with her. I don't know exactly what they were. I don't even want to put it out there. I think I know what it was, but I don't want to get into it. Like, I can't be formally diagnosing anybody, but I've seen multiple types of diagnoses, and the one that she had, I'm pretty sure I know what it was, but she was just impossible to be around, to be honest. It was just an impossible situation with no real solution, because she was mostly just a jerk, and so I couldn't really, do anything about that. But she was so basically, as far as the situations that would like come up with her, like, one of them was that she pretty much was like, yeah, other than the thing about her telling me to like sit at the table, which is like, she had no right to say that. It's like, I wasn't harming anybody by freaking not sitting at the table. Like, I would basically just, she started like watching me eat breakfast and just being noticeably mad about it every single morning. So she would watch me eat breakfast from her bedroom down from, my roommate's previous bedroom, but now her bedroom down the hall, and just like watch me and try to watch to see if I would like sit down. So she would watch me eating. She would watch to see if I ended up sitting down, which I usually didn't. And she would just watch me, because I noticed I would look and she would be like peeking out the door. So I started standing, eating my breakfast, staring at her door, because she would always be peeking through her door. Like, I noticed it was always a little cracked, and she was like watching to see if I would like sit down or whatever. And she would get mad, but then I was like, fuck it, I don't care, because I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I have every right to stand and eat my breakfast. Like, I was in the dining area by myself. Like, this guy's getting his kid ready for school and stuff, or he was getting himself ready to go do what he was going to do for his day. or he was laying in the living room. Like, what difference does it make if I'm standing at the table? Like, nobody else was in there. It was me alone by myself. And so, once I realized that kind of stuff wasn't going to stop, I needed to figure out what I was going to do. So I left the house. I would always tell people, if you're going to live with people, make sure you have extra money on you at all times to be able to leave at the drop of a hat if you need to. If you need to just escape for like a week or a night or 2 weeks and just pay for a hotel or motel or whatever and have your privacy and have your space. And I know it's expensive. It gets really steep to move like that. But if you can't move out immediately, usually it'll give you a bit of wiggle room to find a place to move to. And then you also won't have to live with those people at the same time. So I was kind of figuring out, and I was like, I need some space. I don't remember when this was, but let's call it February. I was gone for like almost 2 weeks. And I stayed at a hotel. It was maybe a hotel close to work. I can't remember. But I remember being at a hotel like close to work. And at this time, I'd made some other friends. And my car was kind of like broken down a little bit. And the transmission was getting fixed. And so with my car, I was having it get fixed. I was having it get fixed by a mechanic that was kind of screwing me over, but I had borrowed his loaner car, and so he had a car to loan out. I used it and drove it to and from was I in school or working then? I feel like I was working, but I wasn't in school. No. This is okay. So I had moved to my next practicum by this point. So I was at a better practicum, but a much stressful one, more so because the workload and the caseloads were stressful. And this is the job that I stayed at for like 5 or so years. But it was my practicum at one point up until December 20th of that term of my 3rd year of grad school of that doctoral program. And, so the housemates, the lady, I had left, and there was a certain point where I had to make a rule, because she would always just like catch me in the hallway and just start going on and on and on about like clean the bathroom. Like she was so obsessive about this stupid bathroom. And she actually used to hang dry her clothes in my bathroom. Like she was all up in my space, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? Like, she was driving me nuts. And I, at a certain point, I told my roommate, the initial guy roommate, I was like, look, I don't mean to be like mean, but like, she's kind of driving me nuts. And like, can we just make a rule that like, she just doesn't need to talk to me anymore? Like, she doesn't need to talk to me. There's no reason that she should be talking to me. Like, because she's always like on me about this bathroom. The bathroom is immaculate. It's spotless. I'm never home. How do you expect me to scrub the bathroom twice a day, like deep clean the bathroom when I'm never in it? She doesn't even need to be using my bathroom. So I didn't understand why she needed the bathroom to be clean in the first place, because she had her own freaking bathroom. And she always made this excuse, oh, well, when we have guests, when we have our guests come over, we want a clean bathroom. I was thinking, like, what guests? And the bathroom's always clean anyways. And so it was old. Like, the tiles were old. The grout was old. Like, it was old. And so it's like, there was some rust and stuff like that. So there was some stuff that was like, yeah, it's like worn and old and stuff, but it wasn't like dirty. I mean, there's no way it was dirty at that point, because I was like wiping it down every day before I went to sleep or every morning before I would leave. I would just wipe it. I wouldn't like deeply clean it, But she wanted me sweeping, mopping, scrubbing, doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I am busy. Like, and this is my bathroom. Like, you guys have, your whole family uses that other bathroom. Like, sometimes the kid would use mine, or like the roommate would use mine. Like, I didn't mind people using my bathroom, but like, at a certain point, I'm like, dude, this is so excessive. Like, she was just trying to be a bully at this point. So I tell my roommate, can we please make a rule in the house that she just doesn't talk to me anymore? Because at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, can you just ask her, just tell her she can't talk to me anymore? So then she started leaving notes. She would leave notes under my bedroom door. And then she would start leaving, and it was like a full sheet of white paper. She would write a whole like letter on there. And then she would leave them, on my sink in the bathroom, or she'd leave them on top of the toilet seat in the bathroom. And it was always like, you need to clean this, you need to clean your room, you need to clean the bathroom. And I'm just like, dude, like, you're not my mother, and you're not my family, and you're not anything to me. Like, I don't see why I should ever have to clean anything, because we don't need to cross paths, and I'm not dirty or messy. So I didn't understand like what her excessive need for cleanliness was on this level. It was just, I was just like, she needs a hobby or something. And so when I left for 2 weeks, I was like, okay, good. I'm out, I'm out of this house. I'm away from freaking her. I'm away from her. I'm out of this situation for a couple weeks. Let me just take a breather, because I just need some space. Like, at a certain point, she started telling me, you can't eat in your bedroom. Like, don't eat in your bedroom. I would eat in my bedroom. I stopped eating in the kitchen and in open spaces because she was driving me nuts. And so I started just eating my dinner in my bedroom, because I was like, I don't want to deal with her as much as possible. And so she didn't like that I ate dinner in my bedroom. And I literally just ignored her. She was like, we don't eat in our bedrooms. And I just went in my bedroom and shut the door. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, I live here, I pay rent here, and I've been eating dinner wherever the fuck I want to eat my dinner for like over almost 3 years at that point. I lived with this guy up until, other than that little semester or so where I was working on campus, but I still had my stuff there, and I still paid rent there. And so like, I was just like, dude, like, so when we had that rule of her not talking to me anymore, like, after I'd left for like 2 weeks, and I was like, let me just decide what I'm going to do. I remember it was near Valentine's Day. I remember that clearly. And I had this loaner car, because I was with this, my car's transmission was getting fixed. So I'm driving this old, like, gold colored Mercedes. It was huge, and gas guzzler, didn't work really good, but like, it drove, so I was like, whatever, it works. And it was going to be temporary. So I was like, I'm already paying a fortune to get my car fixed. Now I'm paying a fucking fortune for for the stupid hotel. But okay, so he, this guy, like, he wasn't like confronting her at all. And I remember, like, sometimes we'd have the door open. So the kid was downstairs when I came back from staying at this hotel for 2 weeks. I remember I had parked in the back of our apartment, like near where his parking spot was. I parked behind his car, because I knew the car next to his was always broken down and like covered up and never used. And I knew he wasn't leaving. So I parked behind his car with my hazards on to easily unpack the car, because I usually just parked on the street, which was far, and I was unloading the car of all my stuff that I'd been out of the house for like 2 weeks. I had like, I can't remember if I had groceries, but I had a bunch of stuff, and I was moving it all out. I think I had been at an extended stay for 2 weeks or something. I can't remember. But, during that time, there was some friend on the guy who, that one RA boss thought I was like dating, who was the other RA. There was some wacky student friend of mine that I think she didn't live on campus. She also lived over near Sabre Springs area, and she was like losing her mind and acting all weird. And so I remember I had my own problems going on. And during that time when I was at that extended stay, she was like excessively messaging me about some relationship stress, because her and that guy were like a little bit involved. And so she's involved with this guy. Um, and I'm trying to be a little bit supportive, but also he's my friend. She's kind of my friend at that point, but you know, she's my friend though, and he's more my friend, but she's like a cohort friend kind of. And so I kind of let her like talk to me and stuff, and I was like, okay. And I was just like, at a certain point, I was like, maybe, you know, just listen to him and have boundaries, like he seems like he's trying to set up boundaries. And she felt like I was being very unsupportive, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I got my own shit going on. Like, I'm over here staying at a hotel, avoiding my roommate's crazy mother, and you're over here like popping off about, my close friend who's getting on your nerves. And I'm like, dude, I'm definitely going to take his side, and I don't really want to talk to her anymore. And then, because I just wanted to unwind and just not be around any of the nonsense anymore. And so, that's what happened while I was at the hotel. She kind of blocked me on like Facebook or some random thing. And I was just kind of like, I was hurt by it for like a minute, but then I was like, you know what, good, because then that means I don't have to talk to her. Like, whatever, I don't really care at this point. And then, so they were breaking up or whatever was going on over there. And so after that, I moved back in. It had been 2 weeks. I know it was near Valentine's Day. I remember that specifically. I moved back near Valentine's Day. And so it was February, and I get back to the house or the apartment. I'm about to, like, my car is parked behind, and I'm moving in my stuff, because I've been gone for a while, so I had quite a bit of stuff. And I'm moving my stuff back upstairs, because we had an upstairs apartment, and the kids outside playing. I want to say the roommate was probably like in the other part of the apartment complex doing laundry or something. Like, he wouldn't have left his kid like just outside playing, even if the grandmother or whoever was gonna watch him. He wouldn't have left him with her like that. So he must have been just slightly somewhere else. And I can't remember if I saw him in passing or not. But when I got into the apartment with my first load of stuff, his mother was there. She was there. I remember the front door was open. Sometimes we did that. Like, in the daytime, they would leave the front door open. And that was fine. There was no problem with it. It was a safe area. But they would leave the front door open just to air out the house. And, like, the kid was outside playing, and he could come and go as he pleased. And he was playing, like, water guns or football or something with his friends. And he would always, at that point, he had been pretty acquainted with me, and he would always say, hi, hi, and so I would see him, and then all his little friends started saying hi to me too, so I'd be like, oh, hi. So I'd have all these little, like, 5-year-olds, like, hi, I'm like, hi, and, like, I remember, coming upstairs, and she meets me at the door, and she's like, as I'm walking in, she's already at the door as I'm walking up the stairs, because she probably heard me coming up the stairs. And she takes that advantage of that opportunity to start talking to me and reminding you there's a rule at this point that had been going on, that we cannot verbally speak to one another, because I don't want to talk to her. I don't want her talking to me specifically. And so that's the first time in like weeks she starts talking to me, because I hadn't even been there. Mind you, I'd been out for like 2 weeks. I don't know what was wrong with my mini fridge, but I don't know if somebody had unplugged it or put some stuff in it or what, but it was damaged inside. There's like one little shelf in there, and I mean, I had a mini fridge. It was like a big mini fridge, but it was a mini fridge, and then I could use the regular fridge at any time, but it was just like, he got me that just in case I wanted to have my own personal space for my own stuff, because he was like, we don't like, we're not family, we don't like know each other, and some people prefer their own stuff. And so he was like, you can use the big fridge at any time, but just like if you want your own stuff, in your own space, you feel free to use this one. So that one had been there for the longest time. I can't remember if someone else put something in there that was rotting or if I left something in there that had rotted. But either way, I came back. The mini fridge was broken. It was unplugged, broken, stuff rotting in it. Um, it was a terrible mess in there because I think I was bringing up groceries. I think I had gone grocery shopping first, and I'm getting ready for the week. This is like a Sunday. I have school the next day. I have practicum the next day. And as I come up the stairs, that's the first thing I noticed. And so I just but I put the groceries on the floor, like in the, because I can't put them anywhere, you know. I didn't want to look in the big fridge, and I just put them on the floor, and I was like, nah, I got this car with my groceries. I don't even know what I'm going to do. So I start going towards my room, because I guess I had something in my hand for my room, and going towards my room, there's this hall that goes from, there's just this hallway that I mentioned, that my bathroom was in the hallway. I had to pass my bathroom in the hallway to get to my bedroom that's at the end of the hallway. And as I passed my bathroom, I realized all my stuff that was inside the drawers and under the sink, it was like a blow dryer, hairbrush, like little extra stuff that I hadn't taken with me because I'd been gone for 2 weeks. So most of my stuff I had still in the car, but some of the stuff I left because I had like extra stuff. I didn't just have just bare minimum. So a lot of my stuff, like I remember specifically blow dryer, like a brush, some stuff that I hadn't brought with me, like some hair products, maybe like some toiletries and stuff, were all out in the hallway. And this lady proceeds to try to like tell me, like, you didn't clean your bathroom, you need to clean all this up. And I'm just thinking, like, I didn't leave all my stuff on the floor. I didn't leave my stuff on the floor in the hallway. And I just stepped over it and went into my room and shut the door. And I waited until, my roommate comes upstairs. And at this point, she is mad. She's pissed. But she doesn't go in my room. She knows better. She's pissed. I didn't even finish unloading the car. The car is still parked, not really parked the way it should, but, hazards on in the back. And I didn't even fully unload my car. And, I start, he is like, I don't know what was going on, but that was the first time she had broken the boundary and talked to me. And it wasn't even pleasant, and she had wrecked some of my stuff. I know it was her. Nobody else would have ever wrecked any of my things. She wrecked, or if they did, and it would have been an accident, and they would have said something. I know it was her who wrecked the fridge. I know it was her who threw my stuff out in the hallway. It wasn't a bunch of stuff. It was like 4 or 5 things, but I mean, nobody else in the house would have disrespected my things. And I was gone for like 2 weeks, and she was the only one who would be like screwing around in my bathroom. And she's like, you didn't clean your bathroom. And I was just like, I wasn't even here for like 2 weeks. Like, what do you want me to come back and clean it? Like, I wasn't even there for 2 whole weeks. I hadn't set foot in that house because I was at a hotel escaping this lady and just needing my peace so I could study and just like relax. Because I was like, I'm not letting her get in the way of all this stuff. And so I go in my room, and I'm like, at first I had like a Chromebook at this time. And at first I'm like, let me see what I have due tomorrow. Let me see what my schedule is tomorrow. Let me see how much rest I need. Because I'm like thinking I could go back to the extended stay, And by this time it's evening. So like any hotel would have been open, And she starts getting mad and just like, she wasn't yelling at me directly, but I could hear her kind of like going off in the other room, in her room, which was a shared wall with my room. And she's like, ungrateful. I can't believe, like, because I think she told me that she had cleaned my bathroom or something. Like, I cleaned your bathroom or something like that. But then she also was telling me I needed to clean it. But I think she had told me she had cleaned my bathroom. But then I saw my stuff out on the hallway floor, and I was just thinking, like, you didn't clean anything. You fucked up my stuff, like, and so and when I'm in the room, this is like maybe a 5-minute maybe less than 5 minute situation that's going on here. Um, she starts, um, I guess as the roommate comes up the stairs, he hears her in the room just like ungrateful, like she's referring to me, but she's like so ungrateful, just so ungrateful. I try to do something nice and like blah blah like blah, and like because I think she expected me to start speaking to her, and the rules were we're not talking, and because I thought she was gonna leave, I didn't know how long she was gonna stay. I thought, okay, like if she's staying a week or two longer, I can deal with it. If she's just gonna leave in 2 weeks, let's just not talk. Like, because the whole problem was that she had things to say to me that were just like annoying, and I was like, I don't need to listen to her, and so we just had a total difference in opinion of how I should be living my life. And she had her idea of me needing to do what she wanted me to do, and I had my idea of I'm doing what I want, you know. And I wasn't doing anything to get in anybody's way. Like I told you, I was clean, I was neat. I was even neater than usual when she started addressing concerns, because I was like, well, maybe I could be neater. I could be a little bit neater. And so I started being like really neat, and then it still wasn't neat enough for her, of course, obviously. And so I was like getting so pissed at her and so annoyed with her, and I was like, the whole purpose why I wanted the rule to not talk to one another was because I was like, I'm not always like the calmest of people. Like, if you get me going, I will get mad, and I don't want to say something I'm gonna like regret, So I was like, just to keep the peace as much as possible, just not talk. That was like my solution, and it worked a little bit, even though she was always trying to break the rules with like, she would send me those letters and notes and stuff about how she wants me to clean everything or whatever, and I was like, whatever. I would just throw them away, like, or put them back under her door, like. But usually I just throw them away or just leave them right where she put it, and never touch the thing and never do what she said. But like, I would clean, like I wasn't not cleaning. It's just she wanted like weird stuff that had nothing to do with me. And then she didn't like being ignored. She needed my attention so badly, I don't know why, but there was that. And then there was also, yeah, so basically I remember sitting on my bed while she's in her room, going off. It sounded like she was throwing stuff around her room, but I don't remember. But I wasn't afraid of her. I was just like, this lady's an idiot and she's obnoxious. But I wasn't afraid of her, because I was like, she never physically was violent or in my face or anything. But I was just like, dude, this is too far. If I'm gone, I can't even leave the house for 2 weeks and have you not like wreck my stuff. Like, and the mini fridge wasn't mine. Like, it was the roommates, and the stuff in the hall, I left it there. And there was a lot of stuff in the room that I left. And I remember, because the car was still out there, and I was like, I remember looking up real quick on my computer what I have to do tomorrow. I was like, okay, I don't have to be up too early. And then, like, what do I have to do? Because I was making a decision, like, what am I going to do tonight? Am I even going to stay here? Or I can go back to the damn hotel. Like, my car's still pretty much packed, you know. And I'm trying to decide, what am I going to do, I could go back or I could stay. I didn't really know what decision I was going to make. So I'm like, before I unload my car completely while she's losing it over there, let me just see what my options look like. And I try to stay calm, and I'm like, okay, on, I looked first on, all right, guys, starting out this morning talking about how my Saturday went for the most part. So, Saturday, April 29th of 2023, I was pretty motivated to, kind of start wanting to get things a little bit more focused. I did kind of curb my sleep a little bit. In all honesty, I think cannabis products work better for me than melatonin. Melatonin leaves me super groggy. But I don't think I want necessarily THC in my system all the time. But yeah, I'll definitely be switching out from melatonin for a while. I feel like it was definitely making my mornings difficult, and I don't really want that. So, for now, I've kind of switched over to, some nighttime cannabis products. I just feel better when I wake up, and I feel like when I fall asleep, I'm kind of like, it's just a little smoother. Like, it's different, but I feel like it's, I don't know, it's kind of a good change. I don't really know exactly what it'll be like for every night or what. Like, I haven't really decided that yet, but anyways, yeah, I really wanted to spend Saturday studying, because that's kind of something I enjoy doing Saturdays. So on Saturday I was kind of up early, around 5:30 a.m. Definitely my mind was racing a lot. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, and I did have some coffee, I think. No, I had some C4, and then I had coffee after, a little bit of coffee after that. So yeah, I did some yoga and stretching. I was watching this Lex Friedman Scientology video with that guy Smith Levin. I can't remember his first name, but I'd seen an interview with him before, and I thought I'd seen that one with Lex Friedman, but I guess I hadn't. So, as far as what I've been studying with, like, about different religious beliefs and cults and stuff like that, I kind of delved into that. Didn't finish it all yet, but I'll get there. Worked out some outlines for some content related to some spirituality and religion topics. And kind of have an experiment I'm doing regarding internet use, studying internet use, kind of using myself as a guinea pig in a way. But yeah, I was enjoying doing a lot of thinking yesterday, and I'd kind of like to continue doing that. And it was weird, like, I spent the Saturday night in, and I was like, at first I was like, I want to go out, and then I was like, I don't, I just want to stay in and read the stuff I was reading, and kind of just relax, and maybe that's kind of what I needed, because I feel pretty good this morning, so that's nice. And I've been doing a lot of working on my thoughts and my energy, both mentally and emotionally, particularly when it comes to things like being kind of easily irritable, and just kind of how I think about the things that I have pending in the future. Sometimes, like, I've noticed that that's definitely sometimes a challenge to kind of get up and be like, oh, now I have to deal with this, or just having my mind feel like it's just all over the place. and not feeling like I'm getting, relaxation during the day. Like, just I've been a little overwhelmed here and there lately. Like, it's not so consistent that I can say it's like every day, but definitely, those days during last week, when my sleep was kind of poor, I definitely noticed it then. But I've been really getting out of the house a whole lot more lately too, just because, kind of stir crazy kind of thing. Like, I get a little, I'm indoors all the day, and so I'm trying to get out for like 2 to 4 hours and spend that time podcasting. I just don't know how it's gonna look during summer, because right now it's April, we're coming up on May, so like May and June we tend to get a lot of gray weather, which is nice when you kind of like to be outside when it's not like freezing cold, but it's also not too hot, and so that is something kind of nice. Even though it's kind of like a teaser, it's like you come out of winter and then it's like you have like some gray months, but I'll take it. If it's not raining, I will take it. Like, I hated all that rain. But I'm definitely, slowing down, trying to be more intentional with planning. Today I'm drinking cacao with MCT oil. I might have a mushroom microdose day, but I don't know what day that's gonna be. Maybe Mondays. But yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays tend to be like reassessment type days for me. Like, going deeper on like kind of like forcing self-care and relaxation. And Fridays and Saturdays are that way too, but I feel like Friday I'm already wiped out, and then Saturday I'm just trying to like get things on track, and get my headspace somewhere that's not where it normally is during the week. Just focusing on things that kind of matter to me and things I want to study, and just getting further ahead, learning about stuff that has nothing to do with like career or school or class or anything connected to like really the daily grind of things. In a way, just trying to like even things out that way. But I've definitely been enjoying reading, listening to podcasts too, but reading, that's something I sometimes get away from, and I'm trying to I'm seeing how this goes with this project of limiting my phone time. It's not really going to be limiting per se, but more so having more intention behind it. So for example, I have some Patreon subscriptions like Jade Fox. I know she has some new vlog content out that I want to watch. There's also some, I want to finish that video, that Lex Friedman video. There's stuff I'm reading, there's stuff I'm studying about. I want to finish that, or start into more of it, even if I can't finish it all today. Like, I probably can't finish it all today, honestly, but I'm kind of going down this bit of a rabbit hole of learning. Like, I kind of do that sometimes. I take topics and just kind of keep building on kind of whatever it's connected to. So I'll probably spend some time doing that too. And yeah, that'll kind of keep me entertained and feeling kind of fulfilled on that end. But I want to see if I can pick times when I'm gonna look at my phone, as far as like Instagram, checking emails. Emails are kind of an annoying thing because it's like I check them, but it's like usually it's not that much of importance, but because there's always that like notification of how many messages I've missed, I just get annoyed that there's all those messages missed, and so I tend to check it. But so yeah, it's 8:02 a.m. on Sunday. I'm gonna kind of get on with my morning because I don't want to spend too much time. Check the weather real quick. The weather is gonna kind of maybe determine when I go out from the house today. So it's gonna be cloudy till about 10. Cloudy again around 3. Cloudy at night. The high today is gonna be 66, so it's not gonna be too hot. So I might go down to the beach. Like, I don't always record at the beach, but I like it because at least it's nice scenery. And if I do want to get out and like take a walk and stuff, or go jump in the water or whatever, it's easy to do. And it looks like Thursday we're gonna have rain. It's like 50%. Yeah, pretty much till next Tuesday our weather's gonna be in the low to mid 50s to the low to mid 60s, and then next Tuesday we're gonna get a spike to like 73 degrees. So I do need to figure out what I'm doing for like exercise. Yesterday I did get a lot of stretching in, but I did have some like soreness in my shoulders, so I want to look into that and see like what the heck that was all about. And yeah, so that's about it as far as just kind of what I've been up to. Thanks for listening. All right. I don't know if I posted the daily for April 29, but I recorded it, apparently. I basically lounged Sunday. It was a gloomy weather day. I didn't even get up and get out or anything. No exercise, nothing. I lounged. Pretty much all day lounged. Didn't have any caffeine. No coffee. I may have had cacao. Can't remember. I didn't write it down, so I really don't remember. Was kind of sticking a little bit to my intentional internet use. And so that's kind of all I did for that day, for Sunday. Started rewatching that Netflix series, Hollywood. It's kind of funny because I don't remember it at all. I kind of remember like major themes, but no details. But yeah, I kind of wanted to start my week out real slow. You know, at first I was like, I need to go to the gym, and like, then I was like, I mean, I did stretch, but not even like a full yoga set or anything. Probably like 5 minutes of just like stretching out my hips a little bit, just a little bit. While I was watching the most updated of Mac and Jimmy's YouTube episodes. Yeah, I really didn't get up to much. Just watch stuff online. Had an edible of about 5 milligrams at about 5:30 p.m. Maybe it was before that. No, it was before that. It was like around 3 p.m. I remember, because I was like, I want it to kick in for dinner so that I don't end up way overeating, which I did overeat. But I overate. Let me see. I had some nachos in the afternoon, which I didn't need to have, but I had them anyways. I had some Cheetos and like 3 pieces of dark chocolate. That Ghana dark chocolate from the Japanese market. I had 3 pieces of that, which is too much, but whatever. But that was my munchies attack. So yeah, unhealthy, but it could have been worse. Otherwise, my meals were healthy other than that. But I would say those things, those snacks combined, those were not healthy choices of mine in the afternoon and evening, but kind of like whatever. It wasn't like excessive. I didn't eat like half of a pizza or like a whole box of donuts or anything. So like it was like moderation of unhealthy snacking, just snacking. Yeah. So I was able to kind of easily deal with the internet usage and be kind of more intentional, even though there were a couple times I did find myself scrolling just aimlessly, but it wasn't like every time I went online. And there were a couple times I automatically clicked on my app for what do you call it, the app, what's the freaking app called? Like the email app or like Instagram. I just found myself like clicking it. Like, why am I clicking my email? Like, I don't have that much email that's ever important. Like, rarely. The only emails I ever really want to see are from my brother. The rest of the emails I get are just never anything of importance. So yeah. Well, that's all I really have to say for Sunday, the 30th. I'm recording this now, the first day of May morning. I already did one podcast episode of one of the podcasts at like around 6 something a.m. I started doing that. So I'm back to my early morning schedule, I guess, which is good. Because last night I went to sleep. I was falling asleep before 9, and I probably went to sleep before 10 p.m., but I'm not 100% sure. I woke up before 5, and I felt fine around 5. My energy was dipping just before 7, but now that I have a little caffeine in me, I feel pretty good, so alrighty. That's all I really have to say for that update. Not really too much to say.